Hey, this is Tim with NewsNowOKC, and I've got Don Spencer, the president of Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, and he's going to discuss some of the bills that are coming through the legislature today and talk about what happened today. House Bill 2597 passed through the Senate committee today, and there's some stuff that he wants to explain and other bills to talk about. So, Don, tell us what you've got to say about that.
Well, yay, our side. The bill only passed, it struggled. It was 18-4. So that's basically half of the Senate that this came through. So, folks, that's a 90% approval. 2 Democrats voted for the bill in committee. Now, we didn't get a single Democrat to vote for it in the House. So that tells you how the momentum of this thing is continue to pick up and continue to just rocket forward. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This thing is a freight train. Either get on it or get out of the way, because we're going to get it. We're going to keep it going. So for all of you guys that say, well, will the governor sign it? Will the governor sign it? We don't care at this point. We still got to, get it to the Senate floor, and it's got to be voted on. If the governor signed it, he said he would. I have no doubt in his mind no doubt in my mind he's going to do it. But we still have the interim step. This will be heard. You're hearing it here first. This will be heard on Monday, and it's I believe it's Monday afternoon. But this will be heard on Monday. So, and there's reasons why we've got this thing catapulted. But I tell you what, you name one time in history you've seen a bill introduced. Heard the first time on February the 6th, and it's become on the governor's desk before the month of February is over. You're going to have a very difficult time finding that bill. You're going to have a very difficult time. Yeah. Now, what transpired today? You kind of have to back up a day or two and kind of follow me here with me here. There's a secondary issue. OK2A requested, and I actually wrote the language with 2 bills. One was introduced in the House, one in the Senate, and it has to do with a public trust. These public trust properties, which would be the Oklahoma City Zoo, the Tulsa Zoo, the Gathering Place, forgetting something.
Scissortail Park, it's going to come into existence.
Scissortail Park will be in here. And so they're hiding behind, because it's a political subdivision of a municipality. So the public trust is trying to create this new no-gun zone by saying, well, look, we're operating this private business. But the fact is, it's public property, and like the zoo gets $1 million of public dollars every month to operate it. So if it's public property with public money, it's public. And so they're trying to say, no, we're a private business. And we're saying, no, that doesn't work for us, because you're taking all this public stuff in. So as I myself experienced, and Tim has too, we'll say the Oklahoma City Zoo has illegally and unconstitutionally removed people because that they were carrying firearms at the zoo. And what we've worked with is this bill that we had introduced would eliminate or clarify the fact that a public trust could not prohibit firearms. Now, today's bill, 2497, does not deal with the public trust. So you're hearing this term called a trailer bill, which is a following bill. There will be no amendments accepted to House Bill 2597 constitutional carry. It's going like it is. In an agreement that I worked with the floor leader of the House and the floor leader of the Senate last night, because we want this public trust issue dealt with. So basically what we've come down with, a public trust property, and it only applies to a public trust property. There will be a bill that will be heard next week. And it will basically say, and I'm sorry, I should have brought the language with me. It will say that a person can carry on a public trust property, but they will have to carry concealed. Now, this, and a lot of people are upset, but this is an advancement, because what was happening when we go to the zoo with our guns?
We're not allowed in if they can see it.
Also, plus places like Oktoberfest, which is a River Park Authority, it's a public trust, they're denying people from going to events inside there. This will still allow you to carry into those events, which they had been previously prohibiting you from the carry of it. So, is it perfect? Not yet. But we at OK2A, we take steps at a time, because, and I've already heard and seen some of the mouthing off that, well, if we can't have, if they're going to give up something, we don't want any of it. Well, you're crazy. You're crazy. We're going to take a major advancement. And because here's the deal, folks. Not only will you be able to carry at the zoo. You'll be able to carry without a license. This is still a huge step forward. So it's an advancement. Is OK2A done? No, we're not done. But we're taking a step in the right direction. And that step is to make sure we can legally carry without a problem onto a public trust property without it being an issue.
One thing that's been brought up to me is,
Sure.
What if the cities want to move to make every city park that they have a public trust, or even the public sidewalk trust? What can we do to prevent that?
Basically, we're doing that now because what this is doing, and keep in mind, yeah, they could try to do that, and OK2A would be there to stop it.
Okay.
I'm not going to put up with that. But also keep in mind the 130-acre Scissortail Park, who knows how much money they're going to dump into that. They've dumped in almost $500 million into the gathering place. And folks, I want to keep this in perspective. Our objective is to be able to carry a firearm for self-defense. If we have to cover it up in some situations, I'm willing to accept that to advance to make sure we can at least carry. And just like it took how many years for us to get open carry, folks, I'm not. You may want to call me and say we're compromising. Yes, it is a compromise, but it's a compromise in the right direction. We're not going backwards. We're going forwards. So the gathering places like this, I'd even talked to them last fall. I said, what would you guys think if at least you would change your policy to no open carry? And they actually were somewhat receptive to that, but they never followed up on it. Basically, these big organizations like this, there's going to have to be a legal change before they're going to respond. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're dealing with. So folks, don't be impatient with us. Those of you that have been OK2A, you know we take steps at a time, because if you go for the big whole thing at once, you'll get nothing. So those of you that are mouthing off saying that the fact that, well, this is a compromise and we can't have it, so trash all of a constitutional carry, you're crazy. You're just crazy.
What do you think the chance we had of getting this through without the trailer bill?
It would not go.
Wouldn't have went.
No, it wouldn't go, because
Okay.
that's a part of and like I say, we want the trailer bill because we're picking up area and assuring and securing area that we were previously being prohibited to carry. So even if it's not to the full extent, it's still a step in that right direction.
Maybe in 5 years or whenever that they feel comfortable with
Sure.
it, there've been guns in the park,
Sure.
we can go after, make open carry
Sure.
legal in these areas.
Exactly. I mean, that's a possibility. Like I say, OK2A, we work first on striving to advance as many people to peacefully, legally carry into more areas, and we have succeeded with both of these bills. It'll be House Bill 1197, that is the trailer bill that we're talking about here. So it's going to follow, and it's going to have that in there. And like I say, today was a great vote. I appreciate you guys for being there too, Tim, and working and talking with legislators. But don't quit calling. Police politely call, politely email, warmly suggest that that they vote for it. And those that voted for it in the committee today, tell them thank you. Senator Dossett, Democrat out of Wausau. Senator, oh God, I forgot his name.
Bill Coleman?
No, the other one, the Democrat.
Brooks.
Yeah. Senator Brooks today voted for the bill. Thank you very much, Senator Brooks. That's all we ask. So, and we hope there'll be some other Democrats because this was a bipartisan effort today. I'm very proud of the accomplishments we had on it. And Monday, looking forward to the vote on the floor. Senator David did an awesome job in the presentation today.
She was great.
And I expect nothing less from her on next Monday. So, folks, that's it in the nutshell. We've got other bills we've passed this week. I literally have been so busy with this, I haven't even kept up creating the list of what all we've gotten, but I think we've gotten 7 or 8 bills passed this week, advanced this week. So OK2A is up there working for you on this. If you're not a member of OK2A, I have no idea why you're not. We're getting it done. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, today at the committee meeting, the representative from the National Gun Rights...
GOA?
No, not GO. National NAG, National Association of Gun Rights. They were here today. They brought a guy in from Colorado, and they brought a guy in from Texas, and those guys have worked their butts off. We also, today, the National Rifle Association, they were here today. They were also working this very diligent with it, along with OK2A. We're working these groups together and looking what we're getting done, folks. So before you start slamming and beating everybody up, I mean, I agree there's some peripheral issues that we can disagree with, but today on this stuff, we are working together. And if you can't tell that there's good results, I don't know what to tell you.
If we can be up there a Monday when this thing goes before the Senate House floor, I would really like to see some people up there, because Moms Demand Action is going to be there in their red shirts, and they're very visible from the floor. So everybody up that is with OK2A wears a little name tag, and we want the senators to see all those little white squares on everybody's shirts up there.
That's right. That's right. Like I say, we're continued. I just worked, in fact, I was late getting here to this. I just worked 2 amendments for 2 other bills today to advance them. They should be heard out of committee and judiciary next week. And that's, like I say, that's what we're doing to make sure we're getting our rights restored. Even if it's not all one whack all at once, it's still incremental steps of what's going on here.
How about the car courier carry?
That should be getting scheduled for the floor.
Okay.
That should be coming up. Also, the passenger felon bill, that should be getting scheduled to hear for the floor. We have 4 bills being heard next week, in 3 or 4 next week in Senate Public Safety. We still got a lot of things moving. This train's just moving.
OK2A doesn't just stand up for your gun rights. Also, isn't there something coming in that limits the power of game wardens entering your property?
Yeah, that's one of the ones. Yes, basically the bill removes the duty that is written in law that game wardens have stuck to, because it says they have a duty to come onto your property to see if you are in legal possession of your firearm or fishing pole or whatever. And so we're requesting that duty to be repealed out of there, and that they can come onto the property owner's property at the request of the property owner, so that if the property owner says, hey, I don't want anyone fishing my pond, that officer knows, the game warden knows that, yeah, there's no one supposed to be on that pond. That works perfectly fine. But like I say, there's no other law enforcement agency that can come on to your property without your permission unless they have a warrant or a probable cause. And just because you're on your own pond fishing is not probable cause for a game warden to enter, and just because you're out in your own field shooting skeet or whatever is not probable cause for a game warden to enter your property, period.
Yeah, that sounds great. Can we dispel some of the myths about permitless handgun carry? I mean, I've heard people say that when this passes, anyone can carry.
I even heard elementary school children will be able to carry on this bill. No, that's not true. You'll have to be 21 years of age unless you're active duty military. You have to be able to legally purchase a firearm. So you can't be a felon. You can't be convicted of domestic violence. You can't be adjudicated as mentally incompetent. For the rest of us, be a responsible citizen. Oh, what about the training? What about the training? Folks, people are going to get training. I am an instructor. They're going to get training. It just may not be formal training by a certified instructor, but my dad taught me the basics, and I feel quite qualified that can continue to happen too.
There's plenty of people out there willing to teach you. You can also go to YouTube. You can reference material to learn your state laws, and that's, I think, the most important, is to learn what you can and can't do, when you can and can't shoot. If the state is a retreat state or a stand-your-ground state. Oklahoma's a stand-your-ground state, correct?
It's a stand-your-ground state, but believe it or not, we have a bill introduced, actually 2 bills introduced, to reaffirm that, because there was a court ruling last March that actually did a lot of damage to the stand your ground law. So there's OK2A looking out for you with that also. I don't have the bill number right in front of me, but it should be heard next week.
Okay. Trying to think of anything else that we need to bring up here. OK2A is supporting your gun rights, and just not your gun rights, general
private
rights.
Property too.
Yeah, private property and your right to free speech. We just were in front of the Ethics Commission a couple weeks ago, so that we would squash a bill that would make them register people that were coming up to the Capitol and lobbyists. I'm just a citizen. I go up there and talk to them. Don, he's a citizen. But we're also, what about Governor Stitt? Hasn't he vowed to end taxpayer money being used to lobby against our rights?
That's true, and that's why we have several bills exactly for that. In all fairness, we're probably not pushing those as heavy at this point, because the fact of the advancement on some of these other bills has just been awesome. And so we'll always come back. What we don't get taken care of this year, we'll come back and get it next year.
Yeah, it never stops. Don works tirelessly. He's up there most days working with people behind the scenes to try to secure these liberties for us. And do you think we'll ever get our Constitution changed?
Yes, we have a bill introduced for that. It's Senate Bill 16. I'm sorry, SJR 16. Right now, I'm not sure. It has to be moved through in an election year. It's not an election year, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Like I said, we got some pretty big
That's
fish
in
to
the
fry
works.
here. So,
All right. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of everything. Do you have anything else, Don?
folks, if you're not a member of OK2A, you should be. Go to OK2A.org, check out the membership, get involved. We'll keep you informed by email and by Facebook and by several other means.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you, guys. And Don Spencer, thank you for coming in
Appreciate
and talking
it too,
with us
Tim.
about
You
these
bet.
issues. You guys have a nice evening.
Yay, our side.
Yes.